Welcome to Capital Jazz TV. Lenny Green holding it down. Enjoying the 12th annual SuperCruise, baby. This is a phenomenal cruise, and I'm having a wonderful time. And we have phenomenal guests. And one of the guests, one of the most distinguished guests, has made a return appearance. And that's his brother right here, Mike Phillips. Mike Philly.
What up, man?
How you feel, brother? One of the most
I'm
gifted, most talented, amazing saxophonists in the game.
and thank you for the kind words, but every time I get on stage, I have to back it up, man. You know?
Yeah, you do. You do. I guess like every performance is to outdo the previous moment.
Yeah,
But
and you know, every performance is like a snowflake. It takes on its own
dimension, shape.
its own DNA. So you kind of got to be intentional, but also be a slave to the vulnerability of the moment that you can't control.
But you know what? The wonderful thing about it, a lot of it has been recorded.
Ooh,
And when I
need to
say
hear that
recorded,
back.
because it's documented.
Yeah.
You know, so your track record is pretty much etched in stone. Your body of work, your mastery has etched in stone. Well, what brings a first question to mind for me is you, at a younger age, was exposed to a lot of different instruments. What really made you settle on the saxophone? I mean, I'm talking about you. You did violin, you did trumpet, but why did you land and decided to do saxophone?
The trying of many instruments was like the dice game. A violin, even though I liked it,
Yeah.
snake eyes.
Interesting.
Yeah, I even tried the tuba. I didn't like it how it made my lips felt. Sax was the closest thing I could feel to the human voice.
Huh.
You were able to do some things that emulated the voice, and the range of flexibility of the things you can do with it. Something that I didn't understand going in when I was young,
Uh-huh.
but when I heard Kirk Whalum for the first time play so expressive or bend his notes, or some sax players be more expressive with the vibrato, I was like, man, that's something that if you can really tap into it, you can literally make your horn sing.
So, is the saxophone the only horn instrument that gives you that diversity?
The only one that, through my perspective, gives me that, and there are some
Sure.
people who trumpet is that voice for them, but for me, it was sax, yeah.
You know, to do what you do, a person would have to be focused and disciplined. That's a learned trait. We don't just become
Nah,
focused and
we
disciplined.
don't wake up and do that.
No.
Not at
So
all.
I'm very curious to know, were your formative years, or in your formative years, how did you develop that focus and discipline? Was it through your parents? Was it through your teachers, your musical teachers? Was it through observation of others? Or what was required of you just to learn how to play the instrument?
I think there's a tribe that's around you that some of them are put in your life and some of them you go out and get. And those examples are through the tribe, So my baseball coach, Mr. Austin, he preached, practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. You practice the wrong technique, then you are repeating bad habits that you'll repeat on the baseball field. So things like that, what it does is that those things parallel the practicing of your instrument, and then understanding that things don't come easy and it's a process, so you're not going to be able to bust out and play giant steps, but Mary Had the Little Lamb. You work on technique, repetition. Now that I'm switching, I'm moving into the world of golf. I've learned the sport easier because I understand that, in order to hit the ball, you got to, if you don't have your 6 inches of your backswing, you can't have, so it's process. And sports, repetition and understanding that, it really helped me at a young age to understand that the results are not going to come by way of wanting it, but it's going to come by the way of doing it, and repeatedly.
Repeatedly, yeah. Discipline and focus. This year, this is the 12th annual Capital Jazz Super Cruise. You are doing a golf tournament, I understand.
Yes. I'm
And,
hosting.
ladies and gentlemen, I wish I could participate in this, but unfortunately I can't because I haven't became disciplined Ask Mike Phillips.
Man, come on, man. It's you know, you got to start somewhere.
I know, but I'm going to start right here on the, they have the little putting, miniature
Putting
golf.
green. Yeah. Okay, that's love.
And take it's not the
Do
love
what
that I need, though, to get on your
do what you
golf
got to
tournament.
do, man, to get where you got to get.
On this particular cruise, you've implemented your golf tournament. What was the purpose and the inspiration for starting this up?
Golf is a sport that it evens the playing field. You know, I always say this. It's funny. There's two types of men and women in the world. A man that has been humbled,
Okay.
and the man that's about to be. And golf can show you that in one hole.
Really?
So
You're not lying.
You know, it's a great sport. You
Yeah.
know, we're doing a workshop where people can learn, and then
really?
for the people that can play, we're going out and playing. So it's not so intimidating that, you know, if you're a first-time player, we're having teachers and workshop to work on the game. See, that could have been you, but you're too busy being
Wait a
like,
minute. Hold on. So is it too late for a brother? to
nah,
get-
it's not too late.
Okay,
Let's go.
all right.
Stop playing.
So hopefully this becomes an annual event.
Yes.
I know you love being a part of the Capital Jazz SuperCruise and just the Capital Jazz events, and you're well received, man. You're well loved, and you see that, and I think you understand that, despite
Man,
how humble you are.
I am stopped every couple times.
That's good.
And I thank people for the kind words, because as an artist, you know, we got to split the difference between two things. We're emotional creatures, because if not, how could you connect with your art? Your art comes from the connection of yourself, who you are, how that resonates, how it filters through you, and then how that gets to the crowd and received and then expressed back to you. It's an intricate cycle.
Wow.
So, you know, when people come up and say they appreciate it,
Yeah.
we definitely appreciate that. And, you know, it shows that you're making some sort of effect. And then at the end of the day, I always tell people, you know, you should get to a point where you have nothing to prove and everything to share.
Wow.
The gift of what we do in the music, it's stronger when it's on the platform of sharing. So there are two perspectives I can play with. I can play from proving. So if I close my eyes and I create a scenario of proving, there are all these musicians around, and I got to flex my technical facility, my musical vocabulary, and I'm just doing all of this. And then it comes from a place of insecurity, because you're trying to prove something. But when you're sharing,
Yeah.
there's a flow that goes through you, whether it's information, whether it's the beauty of your perspective of the gift that you have. So, man, it's been a beautiful opportunity. 4,000 people on this cruise to
Yes.
every night, some way, somehow, in a different way, share everything that I'm about. Not just the music, but the narrative that comes along with me.
Yeah, you know what, and Mike, as you may know, because you've probably seen this gentleman on many occasions, he doesn't want you just to listen to his music. You want people to feel the music, and we get that from you, man. But we also get the intensity. We also get the excitement that you're going through as well, and I think that helps.
Hey, I'm a kid in the candy store.
Yes, you are.
How could you not be excited? Like, I played in band, and you know, I didn't know where this was gonna go. And then 2 decades later, I have Stevie, Michael, and Prince under my notch band, of playing with them and recording with them. There'll be a disrespect to the game if I'm not
It would
excited.
be. Yes.
Like the conversations with Prince, you know,
I can only
watching
imagine.
Michael work, Stevie, looking out for me.
A piece of those gentlemen, though, do you feel that they have all become
They
a
are
part
all,
of you now?
yes. It is sewn into my musical DNA. The
Yeah.
people that I play with, they know it, because, you know, I'm about a band being tight, but I'm also a band, you know, showing the colors of our culture. And I tell them to learn it from the ground up. So if we're playing hip-hop, I would advise you to understand who African Bambaataa is.
That would help.
It would really help if we were playing some straight ahead, for you to be well versed on not just how you play it, but what you know about it, and how that will emulate through your music. I think jazz now, they're being taught at European institutions, and they're treating it like classical music now, where they're playing the notes, but they're not connecting to the
They're not
feeling
passionate.
of it. The Loneliest Monk can hit the same C note, and you feel just the thing that's flowing through him. So I tell people, like, we have to go through the history of the music, so if you're fascinated with the roots, when the storm comes, the tree will not fall. But if you're fascinated with the leaves, and the little flowers and the cute little things that happen, when that storm of the industry comes through, things starts getting changed around and the wind is blowing, those go. But if you know about Louis, if you know about Bird, Sonny Stitt, Sonny Rollins, Ornette Coleman, Pharoah Sanders, Ella Fitzgerald, that's the root and the infrastructure and the shoulders that we stand on. So I might go into a lot of different things. I might spit 32 bars. I might go into some funk, and I might go into some straight ahead or some progressive or something smoother. But I am well equipped because of not just being fascinated with the leaves, but fascinated by the root of our cultural tree.
Well, brother, you do it so elegantly, and you carry the culture. The ones that have walked before you have to be looking upon you and smiling greatly.
Man, shout out to, like, R.I.P. the Art Porter.
Yes.
Who was smoother but was connected to the beast of the plane, George Howard. Smoother guy, but if you throw him in the straight ahead club, he will cut you. And Grover too.
Yes, sir.
So
yes,
those
sir.
guys were at a point where things got smoother, but the culture wasn't taken out of the smoothness.
Well, you better go over to Europe, man, and let them understand about the passion and the culture, for real.
Man, we going hard in these streets for sure. You already know how
I already know how you get down. Are you ever going to be doing some tutorials along the way before I let you go?
Yeah, we did the Business of Music one, which was really good. So, and one thing again, shout out to Cliff and Capital Jazz for creating this cruise, because we can just think about music.
Yeah.
As a whole, but I mean, there's so much things where they got some seminars that I can sit down and learn a couple things. So, and I can share a couple things. So, I'm happy that I'm not just sharing, melodies and harmonies and segues and shows, but we're in here. It's some great, beautiful people that are exchanging ideas as well as enjoying the music. So this is a community that we're all sharing. So I love it, man.
Well, Brother Mike Phillips, thank you for sharing your gift with us.
Man,
it is
no
well
doubt,
appreciated and well respected.
Man, like I tell you, you've been a beacon in our industry. I've been listening to, before I met you, I've been listening to you for years, man.
Yes,
so
sir.
my thing is, I get a little salty because I be trying to sound like you, but I can't.
You don't need to, brother.
Man,
the horn speaks for
let me
itself.
tell you something. You are, basically the Coltrane of radio. You have this strong but impactful
Mike,
voice.
I'm simply doing what you're doing. I'm carrying the culture of the legends that have walked before me.
Man.
That's all.
Man,
So
shout
thank
out
you.
to Von Harper.
Von Harper,
You remember-
Frankie Crocker, Jerry
Man.
Bledsoe. Those are the voices I know about.
And
Don't think
that's
about
what I'm talking about, man. When you study that,
Yes, sir.
then what you do is effortlessly because it flows through you, man. So I remember Von Harper used to just come to my shows, or he used to come to
Yeah.
Chaz and Wilson's back in the day, and man, he was to sit down and you hear his voice, and it's like,
Forget about it.
yeah, it's like, man, whatever you say, I just want to listen to. So, man,
I said the same
I
thing.
feel that flowing to you. So
Thank you,
thank
brother.
you, man, for everything and all the kind words. And, man, listen,
Mike Phillips, watch out for him.
no doubt.
Capital Jazz
Capital Jazz
TV,
TV. Let's go, baby.
Let's go.